Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc., the channel all about bringing you as much nerdy content as possible. Today for you, we're back in Dragon Village M, and I'm going to be covering the Evil Dragon. Brand new dragon, but there is a reason that I didn't go jumping through hoops to get this guy to you as fast as possible. Let's see why. As always, if you're new to the channel, please like the video and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. It's through you guys that I keep making these videos, and also because of my Patreon supporters that I'm able to continue to bring these videos out to you guys. Try to do it on a weekly basis as much as possible. This week, or I guess last week, was kind of crazy. It was the week of Acon. So me and my wife were doing like crazy cosplay preparation, you know, procrastination at its finest there. And I just never had time to get in and do this review video. But at the same time, I kind of go back and forth on how I feel about this dragon, right? So, and if you want to become a Patreon supporter, you can check out the link in the description below for that. I'm going to be starting a new campaign where supporters can have the option for me to go into their accounts and basically just try my best to improve them. If you're struggling at all and you need a lot of help, or you know, you just can't figure out, you know, like there's a barrier, just something in the game you can't get over, then might be worth checking that out. And I'll have a video hopefully for you guys later next weekend for that, for our first test account, where I'm going to go in and then help this person out and try to do everything I can to improve their game, basically. Alright, but this evil dragon, right? So let's get in here. Let's look at this guy. A dragon known as the King of the Dark World for his uncanny magic power. They say that he controls his power using the ball he carries around. Alright, and that's the fire one. It's a junior, and then a little baby right there. So, the different elements. Right? So, 4 element dragon. It is an attack type, of course, Nat 5 here. But 4 elements, that's pretty good. But I don't know. I've noticed a trend here lately that the less elements versions of them there are, the more powerful they are in general. I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird coincidence, but it seems like the more element types there are, then the least good that they are. But I don't know. I could just be imagining things. Alright, leadership skills. Alright, so this is one thing that I really like about this guy, is all allies crit rate is increased by 31%. So, and this is, you know, across the board here for all these guys. Pretty good. Not enough crit rate leadership abilities, I think. I use my Light Dark Nyx for a lot of content. Mostly, more than half the time, just because of his leadership ability, right? So... but this guy is a good. If you don't have Light Dark Nyx, this guy's, and you have him, and you have any of these guys, great alternative. Great alternative. All right. Let's look at this drag skill though. So 3 mana cost. So this is a big boy here, and he is an attack type. I want to bring that up too. Just restate. Target count of 5. So you know this is gonna be like your Varuses and your what else? Your Solars and all that good stuff here. So big, you know, great for PvP because you can hit the whole team at once. Alright. Alright, so inflict damage to enemies with the power of the magic circle. Power is greatly increased proportional to your crit damage. Alright, and I think this is the same on everybody here. So I love when dragons scale off of crit damage, because these guys can hit so hard. I mean, it's just ridiculous how much damage a crit damage dragon can do. I think the only thing that beats them out is probably attack speed percentage dragons, right? That scale off attack speed. But these guys are definitely right behind them, because you can just have, you know, all crit damage runes, first of all. If you're running this guy on your leadership ability, and you have Kathos as your tamer, that's, what, an instant 50% crit rate right there, right? So then you can have, so like I said, all crit damage runes, attack percentage, crit damage, and more attack percentage on top of that. You don't even need any crit rate. You don't have to. if you can get your substats on these runes, just each of them like 7% on all 6 of your runes there. So what is that? 40 something percent right there, right? 42% I think. On top of that 50% from the leadership ability and from Kathos. Boom, right there, you're over 90% crit rate. You don't really need any more than that. I mean, honestly, 100% crit rate is ridiculous. I mean, how often is that ever going to not proc? You're almost never going to see it not proc, okay? And then you spent all that extra bit on just crit damage, and so you're just scaling crazy. This guy is going to hit like a truck, right? We'll go ahead and jump into the last passive here at the end, and this is where I have problems with this dragon. This is my #1 complaint about this whole dragon right here. Is this whole last skill here, this last passive that buffs the drag skill, damage is multiplied by 1.1. Like, really? Like, that's on the main one, right? That's the one that most people got from the crit rate or the rate up summon. 1.1 damage multiplier. So where the benefit of this comes in, right, is it's generic. There's no like special circumstances that need to happen for this to go off, right? So like Light Solar, he gets a damage multiplier if the enemy is stunned, right? And if the enemy's not stunned, he doesn't get his damage multiplier. However, that damage multiplier is so much more than 1.1. Like, you're just doing a smidgen more damage, right? 1/10 of what your damage is added on. So, do not like that at all. For the water, though, is increased by 1.3 damage for defense type enemies. Earth is 1.2 for attack type. And dark is 1.15. Wow, okay, we got an extra, little bit there. Damage to attack type enemies. And removes 1 beneficial effect from the target. I do like that, though. If you pull the dark type, that's probably going to be your best bet. Why do I say that, right? Removing beneficial effects on the whole enemy team. So you're not like limited to only being able to attack certain ones. Like certain guys, like, I don't know, the bane of PvP existence, freaking Water Wonder Dragon, just to name a few there. But really, being able to remove zombie state in PvP is huge, and you're doing it to the whole team, so you don't have to waste one of your slots for your attack type or for your targets on a dragon that's basically already dead, just so you can remove 1 beneficial effect. And this is like a guarantee. There's no 80% chance or anything. That's like a guarantee. So while the damage multiplier is garbage, at least it's to attack type enemies that you get this, because those are the guys you want to kill, right? So being able to do that, I'm not sure the order that this plays out in. It doesn't really state. Hopefully it's you do your damage and then remove the beneficial effect, because if that's the case, then you can hit the Wonder Dragon, it goes into zombie state, and then you immediately remove the beneficial effect and kill it. That's awesome. These other ones, though, yeah, you're going to need that higher multiplier for defense type enemies because they've got more defense. It makes more sense. A little bit more on attack type, you really do want to kill the attack types all the time. But then the fire type is just 1.1. I mean, it's generic. There's no stipulation. But yeah, just across the board here, 1.1. There's no stipulation, like I said, for it. So that just makes it a little more generic and useful everywhere. When these other guys are very like set, they only do it to certain types of enemies. So that's what makes him, I don't know, I want to say worse, but at the same time makes him better. You know what I mean? So you really got to debate which one you want to use. My thing is, I would only really ever want to use the dark type just because of that one, remove the beneficial effects. So on the whole enemy team, like I gave the example of removing zombie state, but everyone on the team is losing a beneficial effect. So attack buffs, defense buffs, everything. Everyone's gonna lose something. All right, let's jump back over here to the first passive we skipped over though. Every set duration inflict damage to a random enemy. Power is greatly increased proportionally to your crit damage. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, for enemies every 12 seconds, which we're going to drop down to 8 seconds, you're hitting almost the entire team, and it's scaling off a crit damage, who you've already built this dragon for. He is a crit damage beast by the time you're going to be done with this dude. So he's just hammering the team constantly. Alright, water type here though. 80% chance to silence defense type enemies for 4 seconds. Again, you're going to do this every 8 seconds, so there's 4 seconds where they're not silenced. But honestly, of all the people I want burning mana on my enemy's PvP team, it's probably the defense type, honestly, because they're not going to do any damage, and usually their side skills are pretty lousy anyways, so yeah, not a fan. Now this is pretty cool. Earth type, again, dropping it down to 8 seconds here, hitting most of the team. Inflict damage to a random enemy. 80% chance to stun attack type enemies for 4 seconds. That's great. That is awesome. And like I said, you're hitting most of the team here with this. That's great. I mean, there's nothing to really say about this. You're not gonna be hitting as hard as the fire type one is, right? Because he's scaling off his crit damage. He's just doing crazy damage. But this is nice. It's a nice little just added tidbit. Honestly, if you want to use your solars and you're looking for the guy that's going to stun the enemy team so you can get that extra bit of damage, this right here might be your guy. Being able to stun the attack type targets, that's who you need to kill, right? You need to kill the attacker so that way you can't die. And then you just slowly whittle away the healers and the tanks and stuff like that on your own time, right? You can, work through them slowly and whatnot. And then the dark type here, inflict damage to enemy at the rear. So you're gonna be hitting the 4 guys in the back, so you can avoid the usually the tanks are up front. However, if it's a zombie dragon, then they might be out front, depending on how they build their team and stuff, which is a shame. But 80% chance to make attack type enemies fall asleep for 6 seconds. 6 seconds is a lot longer than the 4 seconds, especially in PvP. And you're doing this every 8 seconds. You're putting these guys to sleep. Well, 80% chance, which is pretty good. They can have a chance to resist it, of course. But and in the second you hit them, they wake back up. So you got to kind of plan your team around that. If you have team like Varus, for instance, he makes a little ball that bounces back and forth, and whoever it goes after is always random. They have a chance of waking them back up. I do like the Earth type better with the stun, because you can't just wake back up from that. It is a little shorter than the 6 seconds, with a 2 second gap of going off again, as opposed to the 4 second gap. But I just like stun better than sleep. Sleep you can just get woke right back up from. Alright, and the last passive here, increase attack by 20%, which you can go up another 10%. So just raw damage. I feel like it should have been crit damage because this guy scaled off crit damage so much, but attack percentage is fine. No complaints there at all. Crit rate for your water type, more crit rate for earth type, and then there's your crit damage right there on your dark type. Who, I mean, again, his drag skill scales off of crit damage, so you are benefiting yourself there. But you don't have the second passive like the fire type has here, where you just do more damage based off your crit damage, because we have the fall asleep instead. So it's a shame that he's the only one that gets the nice crit damage buff. But across the board, all great passives. I mean, there's no dead passive here. It's not like someone's randomly getting more HP or defense or accuracy or something lousy like that. These are attack dragons, and all of their passive raw stat increases are for attacking. So with the crit rate ones, that's only thing this really does, though, unfortunately, is it makes ruining them a little bit easier. So you're doing the crit damage and then attack percentage, crit damage, attack percentage. You can go a little more slack on the crit rate needed in your substats. Okay, that's the only thing that does. So definitely would prefer to have one of these other two in that regard. but at the same time, Earth is still good because of the stunning attack types. Only slightly better than the Dark because of that, but then overall the Dark I think is still better because it removes the beneficial effect. So in order, I would put it Dark the best, maybe Earth second. Earth and Fire I think are tied for second, honestly, just because Fire is better for raw damage. Earth has a little bit of utility though, right? He gets a little bit better attack against attack types, and he stuns rather than just doing raw damage. I think that utility is just maybe a tad bit more important than just raw damage. So maybe Earth is second, Fire third, Water is in last. Unfortunately, silencing defense types is not needed. I'd much rather silence an attack type, especially for PvP. Increasing crit rate, that just makes you a little bit more lazy in your runes, and doesn't help overall to increase the damage. Doing more damage to defense types, not really that big a deal. Like I said, defense types are probably on the lowest on my priority. I'm trying to like snipe the attack types in the back, right? And then and of course his drag skill is the same as everyone else. But all three passives are just very lackluster for me in comparison to everyone else. So if you got the water type, I'm sorry, but you might want to hold off on using him if you still have a chance. Hopefully the video is not too late on that. You might be better just to hold on to it for some enhancement points for these other guys, or use as mastery fodder, unfortunately. But that is going to wrap up this video, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. Like I said, he's good, but overall, we just have so many attack types in this game already that already do most of these things. So it just didn't feel like a rush video. It's like, you got to get this dragon immediately. It wasn't a Trophius kind of thing that like changed the whole dynamic of how the game is played, right? He is good, don't get me wrong. He's strong, but he doesn't change anything. He doesn't change the way the game is played in any regard at all. So that's why I didn't rush things. I was busy already, like I said, with Akon. We're going to Anime Fest, I guess next month now in August. So if you want to meet up, put in the comments below. We'll try to meet up a day. Talk about the game or whatever, or just hang out. It's an anime convention. Come on now, that's awesome. All right, but with that, I'll see you next time.